Hi guys, welcome along to a brand new episode of the Arsenal Away. I'm Ashwin and he's Samrit. Just before I get into the show, we are on YouTube. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. There's a bell icon below. Please click it so that you get notifications every time we come out with a video. Our socials, we are on Twitter, the Arsenal Away, and on Facebook at the Arsenal Away. So please like, share, and comment, and please spread the word because we're still young, we're still growing, we still want to get out there. So your help would mean the most to us. Um, Samrit, we played West Ham at the weekend at the Emirates. We came away with a 1-0 victory. It was a game that I don't know if I can say this. It would have been. It looked more like a game that was under Emery than under Arteta. The oppositions had. I mean, West Ham had a lot more chances than we did. They squandered a lot more chances, but somehow, even though with us keeping 80% of the ball, it looked like we did a smash and grab and we won the game. When, to be honest, we were crap and they should have really won the game. Surprised VAR gave us a decision that was, to be honest, was actually a good decision. Ozil was onside. I don't know why it took so long for them to figure it out. It took 2.5 minutes for them to see when everybody in the stadium could see that he was clearly onside. But a lucky escape for us, and something that I think it's probably our worst performance under Arteta in terms of us getting a victory and still, I mean, playing so badly and still getting a victory. But your thoughts on the game?
First off, I just want to say I think the delay was more to do with the fact that how could they not let it be a goal as opposed to allowing the goal and being really heavy-hearted about awarding us that goal. I think, but it was pretty clearly onside. I remember they did that little graphics piece on where they were looking at measuring those few inches or millimeters around Ozil's foot and whatnot. And the moment it seemed that they had to award the goal, it seemed very reluctant about it. But having said that, you're right. It was probably the worst performance under Arteta, worst winning performance under Arteta since we've seen him since he's come on board. There was no drive. The first half was just really drab. You weren't seeing any sort of runs. They invariably kept going to Pepe or Saka for some pace and thrust. There was nothing coming from the midfield. Ceballos didn't have a good game. They was slow on the ball. He took he took 5 touches more when two could do. There was nothing from the midfield. Ozil was pretty much, even though he got the assist in the end. I think that was his first assist for a while in open play as well. He they were just running around. There was no creativity, and I guess what happens is the fact that teams we struggle now to, or at least are struggling at this point. Not sure if we will continue to, but we're struggling to break down these really well organized teams because if nothing else, what we used to do in the past was, and when I say past, I don't mean under Emery. I'm just saying Arsenal teams of the good old Arsenal teams under Wenger. If teams would sit behind two banks of four, if we weren't able to play through them, we would try and play around them, but at pace. And that pace was also missing. Um, there was no urgency in either the build up play or otherwise, which was infuriating to watch because there's a team that's now has enough of a break between games to rest, recover, and go at it in every game till the end of the season. It's only the FA Cup and the league now that's left. So, it was very frustrating to watch because that West Ham team isn't great, and we were making them look like a team that has been coached really. That's just a good at what they do, and they're not really great players. Having said that, they were the ones who had the most number of chances, clear-cut chances at least. Leno making a superb save that led to a counter to Oba, but it wasn't a good game. That open goal chance that Haller missed as well in the first half. We were just not at the races, and of all the people to have scored, it was Lacazette to have again scored. That's 3 and 4 for him now. So lucky to get away with it, and I guess with 10 games to go, 11 games to go, I just grab as many points as we can. Doesn't matter how they come. Um, And as they say, it's the results and not the performance that matters. So I'm okay with we continue playing like this. It's horrible to watch. The last 5 minutes were really tedious, but I think just as long as the results keep coming in, we should be okay.
The only bright spark I can take away from the game was, I think, the introduction of Lacazette. In the 60th minute or so, I think Lacazette came on. And I don't want to blame Eddie because he's too young and it's too much to ask from him to do the sort of role that Lacazette does. But I felt when Lacazette came on, he was able to bring other players into the game a lot more than what Eddie does. I think Eddie was a little isolated, and I think teams have figured us out. I think it was, we spoke about how when Olympiacos came and played us at the Emirates, it was a blueprint for other teams to just come, sit back, defend, and eventually they'd get a chance. And it just wasn't about one chance. I think West Ham had a couple of very, very decent chances where they should have really taken it. The first one where it was that two on one where Luis was tracking back and Antonio played it behind his partner. That should have been a clear goal. I think Antonio had a free header which he hit straight at Leno. There was one scuffle that happened from the corner where they should have clearly scored. I think it was uh, I don't remember who it was, but they clearly should have scored and made it. They should have at halftime. They should have been 2-0 up, 2-0 or 2-1 up, because I think there were a couple of decisions that didn't go our way as well. I think Eddie could have had a penalty. VAR made a check, which they didn't do anything about. There was clearly something on Lacazette when he came on, and that could have been a clear penalty for us as well. Where there was like he was literally holding Lacazette and trying to wrestle him to the ground. And see that's the thing, right? Like how inconsistent VAR is for us. Because if it was a team like Liverpool or United, that was a penalty. Or forget that. If it was Arsenal doing it to anybody else, it was a penalty. But things like that, like you spoke about how VAR was shocked that, oh, we have to give a decision to Arsenal, and that's why they checked so long. I don't know what they were doing. Like you could clearly see Özil was onside. Still, they were trying those markers and trying to see if he was offside. And like there are goals, and there are goals that I've seen this Premier League season where the clear person has been clearly offside, where they've not been made a check for VAR. The one that sticks out to me was when Liverpool went away to Man City, and when Salah scored that goal where there was a ball played from midfield across the back line, and Salah was clearly offside, which they didn't even make a check for. And I remember stuff like when we lost to Chelsea. I think it was at Stamford Bridge where we conceded the second goal to Chelsea, where Aspilicueta scored. I still remember Tammy Abrahams completely obstructing Leno, and you know he was clearly in the offside position, and nothing was given. And Aspilicueta scored, and it was 2-1 to Chelsea at that time. While last week, I think who was playing United where it was 1-1. I think it was Everton United. It was 1-1, and oh, one of the Everton players was on the floor, and David De Gea was standing, and the ball went into the back of the net, and they gave it offside because he was obstructing the keeper while he was on the floor and De Gea was standing. So it's just these inconsistencies, and it just proves that how much these referees hate us, right? Coming to that point, there's another thing that I want to talk about is how the referees just don't want to protect us because they know Arsenal are soft, so they let any team go and do whatever they want. Today, news about Torreira coming, and possibly I was just watching Arteta's presser that just released, like dropped about 10 minutes ago, and they asked him if his season's over, and Arteta said he wants to be positive that his season's not over, but it looks more likely that his season's gone. And with like 10 games remaining, I don't think they want to risk him for next season or whatever. But that's just been happening to us. Like we've lost so many players. You can take that back to from the likes of Diaby to Ramsey to Eduardo. And I was reading a stat. All these players I just named, the one common person was Mike Dean, who was in charge of all these games. And the only time that he showed a red card was to Taylor because the person actually Eduardo actually broke his leg and you could see it dangling over there. But apart from that, like there's just no protection. Uh, so either and for me, I don't know how we can help, because it's just that then if there's no fairness in the game, you just feel hard done by. And I know they say that football evens things out, like whatever, but it evens things out in a time when it's of no consequence to us. I rather get the right call than have it evened up for me with a game which doesn't make sense for me at all.
Yeah, funnily enough, Jermaine Genius said at the time of the Torreira tackle that Arsenal players cannot have any complaints whatsoever on that tackle, and it just shows that th- the mindset and the culture of how you said Arsenal are soft is just so ingrained into both into teams as well as the people who are supposed to be running teams and who should know the rules that it doesn't really matter if it happens to Arsenal, it will happen nonetheless, and we let it go because teams are just soft, and if that any other team would have been okay with it. And I guess, as the joke says, that us having these injuries and season-ending decisions, VAR decisions, are at the cost of us going unbeaten for an entire season. So I understand that, and I don't know, to your point on whether or not things even out over a season. There's a part for me that agrees with you that things do even out. There's part of me that agrees with you that things don't even out. That it invariably happens at a time where games become inconsequential. Um, but I'd also like to believe that referees should be empowered to take decisions, um, and make the right use of technology if it's available to them. Like something like a pitch side monitor, referee should be consulted for every key decision, like an offside leading to a goal or a foul leading to a penalty or build up play, things like that. And I remember watching, I forget who it was, on YouTube or somewhere. Uh, it was on the podcast. It was on the Ornstein Chapman podcast on the Athletic, wherein the the decision, I think the week before that, for it was in the Chelsea game or something else, where it was a clear sending off and it didn't happen. Um, the person who was in charge of VAR then
Oh, Jorginho.
was,
Jorginho was
yeah,
supposed to be sent off, and he scored and he made it 2-1, and they beat us.
right. So that decision, um, for someone who's made as glaring an error as that, was then allowed to referee another game 4 hours later. Now that tells me that they either don't want to fix the problem, or there's something more sinister going on, and I don't know. I couldn't even fathom a guess as to what is that happening. But I just think that, I mean, let alone, let's accept the fact that okay, we're a soft team, and I'm okay with that. But at least I'd like, just as you also said, I'd like decisions to be taken immediately. I'd like decisions to be fair at that point in time, and I don't think the Premier League is doing enough to help help teams, not just us, help teams across the board in getting decisions right.
Unless you're Liverpool. I know I keep bringing it up, but it just seems like they just trying everything possible to get Liverpool across the line, and I think it came as a shock to them as much as Liverpool that they didn't go unbeaten and beat our record, because for Arsenal to have that record, it must really suck for them, because they really really hate us, and they really hated Wenger when he was here. So for them to see that is terrible. Anyway, moving along from there, another piece of upsetting news that I read today was apparently Bellerin's been nursing a groin injury, and he's been on painkillers to go through, which is why I think Mikel's been playing Socrates at right back. Another strange thing is that even though Socrates has done decently at right back, I don't know why he's not going with Maitland Niles. Think we spoke about it a couple of pods before, saying that maybe he's not happy with the way Niles is putting in or doing a shift in training. But the thing is, I think that Maitland Niles provides a more attacking intent and is better going forward than what Socrates gives us. I think with Socrates at right back, it just imbalances the team a little bit. But as long as we're keeping clean sheets, I can't complain. Another piece of What are your thoughts on how our new centre back played for us? Pablo Mari played his first game at the Emirates and at the in the Premier League for us. What were your thoughts on his debut?
I thought it was fine. I thought it was he's he reminds me a little bit of Mertesacker, but without the reading of the game.
It's
And
it's good that you brought that up because the last player to actually play and keep a clean sheet on his Premier League debut was poor Mertesacker in 2011. So
yeah, I read that stat. It is kind of surprising to see how we've just not ever managed to be consistent enough with that. But no, I think he was fine. It's a good debut for him. He didn't really pull up any trees to have made us go completely gaga over him. But I think it's too early to say from one game. But I think he was fine. He did what was needed of him. He did get caught out a number of times, but then looking at it from a slightly broader perspective, he did have Luis and he did have Socrates and he had Saka. None of them. Socrates doesn't play as a right back. Saka doesn't play as a left back. Luis is known to bomb forward, so not the most settled back four in a way, but in a way, I guess he did a job. He was asked to do a job and he's done that decently. So I think once Mustafi comes back, he will probably slot back in with Luis, and hopefully whatever is happening with Tierney and Maitland Niles gets sorted and they come back into the team. I think Tierney will come back into the team. I don't think Saka is going to play there anymore. I think he'll be more of a backup option now. Especially just a word on Saka though. And I'm glad I brought it up. The number of times he was able to play those whipped crosses consistently, not just once, like consistently over and over again. Just shows that like why people are raving about him. And I don't know what we're doing. I hope we tie him down to a new contract ASAP because that guy is clearly a star in the making. And I hope we do it. But yeah, that was my piece on Saka. He's been brilliant, and I would like to see him now maybe play in a slightly further forward role with either with Aubameyang and Pepe, who did show those flashes of dribbling ability, but he would just then run into a wall or not pick up the right pass. And um, some United fan tweeted me saying that Pepe is like Gabriel Obertan, just cost 24 times X, 24X, which is just a ridiculous thing to say. If it was Pepe who was playing for United, it would have been completely different. But um, there's, I think, with a season full of a season that he goes into with preseason and having been a little bit more settled, will probably do him a world of good. I just hope we can see a decent enough contribution from him over the next uh, 10 games and hopefully bring us closer to the Champions League, which now looks difficult after yesterday's results. I genuinely didn't think Everton would just not want to turn up, and I didn't think City would lose either. So those two results are not, I think, 10 games later, not really going to do much for our confidence or our run for that fifth position.
no man, like I was hoping that some because Everton played Chelsea. I thought they're doing pretty well. The fact that Carlo Ancelotti has gone back to his old team, I really thought they were not going to roll over like the way they did yesterday, and it could have been way more. Like 4-0 was just like it flattered Everton, to be honest. Like it could have been way more. Like Chelsea battered them, and I mean, I called it, man. I told my friend that United are going to beat City because somehow Ole's got the better of Pep this season, man. They played him 4 times, and I think Ole's beaten them 3 times, and I think Pep's got the one victory in the Carling Cup over them. But I just called it like it was United at home. They sat back. They played on the counter. They got the one goal, and then they just made it tough for City. And City looked like an average side yesterday. They didn't look anything great. But when we go there tomorrow to City, they're going to turn out to be the prime City that we all expect. They're going to pass the ball. They're going to zip it around. I'm sure De Bruyne is going to be back for that game, and it's not going to be an easy game for us. Like so, I mean, You were talking about the run in, and you were talking about how the hopes for fourth place is now gone. I mean, with 10 games to go, with anything is possible. But the thing is, United have a much easier draw than any of the top teams. So I think the favorites to get top four, I think, are United, then followed by Chelsea. I think it'll be really, really hard for us to break into the top four this year because we have City remaining, we have Liverpool, we have Tottenham, we have Leicester remaining, and they're not going to be easy teams at all. So that takes me into the preview for the game day after night. It's a rescheduled fixture. We were supposed to play them 2 weeks ago, but they had the Carling Cup no, Carling Cup final where they beat Aston Villa and they won that. So even though City, I think the same thing happened the last time as well. I think it was Emery's last game as manager for Arsenal, where just the week before United beat City, and then City came to the Emirates and they just walked us off the park. Like they were 3-0 up inside 20 minutes, and after that, I think they felt bad. They felt bad for us, and they just stopped. Like I don't think they went down one gear. I think they went down like three gears. And like De Bruyne that day could have had a hat trick had it not been for Leno making that fantastic fingertip save. And it was embarrassing. I think that was the last time we saw Emery, and Arteta was there. And I remember very quickly, as soon as the game got over, we had leaks of Vinay coming out of Arteta's home, and things just moved along. And then 2 days later, we were told that Emery was fired and Arteta would be the new manager. And since then, we've done well. We're the only English team to be unbeaten in 2020. But I don't think it's going to stay for too long. I think the City team. I think even Arteta said in his presser, he said that the two teams are at different levels right now. They both have completely different objectives. And he said for us to get anything out of there, it has to be everybody's best individual performance as well as the team's best performance that they put. And that's the only way we can see anything happening. I don't know if we are good enough to sit back and defend the way United have done. But I don't know if we're good enough to go and score the goals uh, and take our chances. So, your thoughts on the game, your lineups, and your predictions for City?
Look, I think we have the players to score. Um, because let's be honest, this City team without the likes of KDB doesn't look great, and that's saying something. Like I'm not, I don't mean to sound condescending or however it may come across, but like De Bruyne not playing at United away was, I think, I don't know, maybe he's being rested for the Madrid game, which I thought was this week, but it's next week. So I wouldn't be too surprised to see him maybe given like 60 minutes to come and destroy us completely. Aguero looked off. We barely had any. Wasn't in the game at all.
Should have had a goal though. That VAR decision was a horrendous one.
Yeah, I get that. And Sterling has just looked off pace for a few games. Um, I think there's enough there within us to um, to try and get a result. I don't think we will. I think we will get battered. As of course, Pep is feeling uh, incredibly gracious towards his former uh, assistant coach, manager, friend, whatever you want to call it, and he picks out a weak team, having with Madrid in mind 5 days, 6 days later, because that is the competition that they're going for now, and they got a result at Madrid as well. So um, I would like to think that he would focus his energies there and not so much on the league, because let's put it frankly, whether you finish second or whether you finish third in the Premier League is it's a matter of a few million here or there. Don't think City really have that problem. They might not be in the Champions League at all next season, so for I think Pep is just going to focus as much as possible to just win it completely and then just fuck off the next season. Um, Lineups, I don't know. I would like to see. I don't know if he will like to introduce a Tierney or an Isles into a fixture like this, because Socrates will get toasted completely. Um,
Sterling down that left wing.
Curling down that left will have him on toast. Um, our midfield will miss someone like a Torreira, because I think this was a good game for him to have stepped up. We need that doggedness in midfield. I think that will still remain the same. It'll probably be Xhaka, Ceballos, and Ozil in the middle. With I hope Lacazette doesn't start, but I have a feeling he probably will. Probably will play. Or probably will play Auba on the left, Lacazette in the center, and Pepe on the right. Um, I'd like to see someone like a Martinelli given a shot, because that kid just runs and does the unexpected as well. So that could be like an element of surprise, because they've not really seen playing much against him at all. But I think I think the lineup will be very similar to what we've had over the last 2 games or so.
I think in this presser they were just talking about Tierney, and I don't think Arteta would probably play Tierney. I think we all know that Saka is not a true left back, but I think that position he's done so well. He's got 10 crosses. He's got 10 assists already for us from that position. I don't think they're going to want to move him from that. Arteta was talking about wanting there to be competition between Tierney and Saka, and whoever does better will probably play. So I don't think he drops Saka in the form that he is in right now. But you're right. I think the midfield will remain the same. I don't know if he's going to want to play five at the back and try to defend and hit them on the break. But we can look at the sort of blueprint that United played. They played with two defensive blocks and just had pacey people run at City, and that seemed to work. Which is why I don't mind seeing Oba playing through the middle with Martinelli on the left and probably Pepe on the right. You know, guys who have pace can cause them trouble on the break. It's something we could try doing. I don't mind seeing if he doesn't go with that system. I don't mind him seeing playing Lacazette, because I think this game would be too big for Eddie, and Eddie probably be like crowded out or probably not get enough of the ball, and will probably be playing with a handicap, probably playing with 10 men over there. So I don't know, whatever it is. I hope Arteta picks the right side. I hope we go there and not crumble. I hope, because the last time we beat City was 2015. And I think I was reading a stat that said that it was the last time that we went and won away against the top big sides. That was the last time we won away. So 2015 was the last time we went to any of the top big sides and top six big sides and won away. So that's a stat that he'd want to break at least. Another quick thing is City know that Liverpool need just 6 points now to win the league. It wasn't a question of if they would do it; it was a question of just when they would do it.
9, right? 9
No,
points.
they need 6 points. So if and City play two times before Liverpool play, I know this is impossible, but if Arsenal beat City and if Burnley beat City, Liverpool are champions even without kicking a ball. But so I don't think Pep would want to do that. He'd want to take it as far as possible. I know it's probably going to take Liverpool just two more games to get there and win the title. But you're right. His focus is going to be the Champions League. They have a decent score against Madrid. I think they 1-0 up. Are they 1-0 up?
I think 2-1. I think.
I 2-1. Sorry. So two away goals, and if they put in a decent performance, they have a chance of going into the quarters, and then anything can happen from there. So yeah, that's the formation I'd go with. Also, I'd try playing Martinelli, Oba, and Pepe, and try to hit them on the break, and just tell them to sit back, defend, play for each other, and just go for there. But it's more likely that Oba plays on the left wing because he can protect the left back, he can protect Saka, and he's been doing that good job. I have a feeling, like I said, comes into this game, and he'd probably either start Pepe or he'd probably start with. I don't know if Martinelli is going to start. Might start with Reece Nelson. Yeah, Nelson, or might push Ozil to right wing and push maybe bring a Willick or a Guendouzi in midfield to pack up the midfield so that we don't lose the midfield battle. Anything to negate City's dominance, but yeah, if KDB plays, we're going to have a real tough time over there. And like you mentioned, I don't have any hope for this game. Like, I think we probably go and get done there, maybe 2-1 or 3-0, 3-0 or 3-1. I think that's the scoreline. What do you think the scoreline is going to be?
No, the same. I think it'll be they will beat us comfortably. It's a bridge too far to cross because for Arteta at this point, Chelsea would still have been. It was still fine because he beat Chelsea. Sorry, he lost to Chelsea, but he beat United. Um, I don't know. I'd like to believe we'd get a result. Rather, I'd like to hope we'll get a result. I don't think we will. It will be a comfortable win for them, which, depending on how the others play over the weekend, or are there any other midweek games this time? I'm not sure. I don't think there are. I think
I
it's
think
just this.
Leicester. I think Leicester play. Or Leicester playing tonight. Actually, I think it's just our game.
Yeah,
It's just
so
our game.
I think this is our game in hand, and
Hmm.
it kind of sucks that it's City, but it's it's. I think we'll still be in the same position as we are this weekend. I don't see us. I don't see any significant points being lost. They could just probably take this as a free hit and hopefully give it their all. Um, Again, I think Champions League is pretty much done after yesterday's results. I genuinely thought that Everton would turn up and City would turn up, but they haven't, and I think that's pretty much done. I think the gap, while might seem small, but with just the kind of fixtures that we have, um, it seems a too far a bridge to cross right now. I mean, I could be wrong. There's still 30 points, and we could finish with 70 something. We could win all 10 or 11 for that matter, but I don't think we will. I think yesterday was probably at least for me personally was a serious season was it for Champions League.
All right, guys, that's the show. Let us know your thoughts in the comments about the predicted lineups that we put out and the scores that both of us have predicted with. Like, let us know your thoughts if you think that it's going to be anything different. Put it in the comments below. Please like and share and subscribe. And as mentioned before, we're on YouTube. Please subscribe there. Our socials on Twitter, The Arsenal Away, and Facebook, The Arsenal Away. Please like, share, and subscribe there as well. Samrit, this was great. Let's chat some next time.
Yeah, thanks, man. Thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll see you guys in the next one.
Yeah.